So one thing I wanted to talk about this week is why your body just flat out isn't changing, even when you're doing every single thing right. Now, before we get into this is obviously not about any one particular person, but if you're having issues with anything that you're doing in your weight loss journey, it's really indicative that you take a step back and look at what you're doing and giving yourself a self audit to make sure that what you're doing is in alignment with what you think that you're doing, if that makes sense. So you're tracking your macros, you're getting your workouts in, you're getting your steps, you're hitting your water intake, and you haven't had a cheat meal, you haven't touched a cookie, ice cream, nothing in weeks, right? But you feel like nothing is happening. So first off, take a breath, take a step back. You're not alone. This is one of the most common frustrations that I hear from clients. And to be honest, whenever I was talking with Brandon this morning about coming on next week, he was telling me about a few instances of his own and his own clients of kind of the same thing. Hitting every single metric every single week, and the scale's just not moving. They feel like they're not making progression. So, you're definitely not alone in that mindset if you are in that mindset at any point in time, which you probably will be. I have been in my lifetime. But the truth is, it's not about working harder. It's about working smarter, but also taking a step back and looking at everything as one big whole, right? If your body isn't changing the way that you expected it to, even that what you're doing seems like everything right, there could be some reasons as to why progress may be stalled. And this is what we're going to dive into today. So, the biggest thing that I see personally is you're not tracking your food close enough. Um, you're you're tracking it and you're getting it close enough, but it's not close enough, right? It's not as accurate as it could be. So let's be honest. Estimating your portion sizes, eyeballing, avocado oil, peanut butter, things like that, sauces, um, and guessing. One second, let me let these few other people in. All right, and so pretty much just eyeballing stuff, especially like any kind of heavy fat food, right? And guessing when you go out to eat, all this is going to add up, right? Um, to put this into perspective, even 250 extra calories a day, right? That is a very small amount of food. That's like 15 almonds, give or take somewhere in there. It's not a lot at all. This can literally cut the amount of fat that you are burning in half. So if we think back to how many calories does it take to burn 1 pound of fat, right? It's 3,500 calories in a week, right? If you divide that by seven, that's 500. Half of 500 is 250. So if you're making just the smallest error and just eating 250 additional calories a day, you're pretty much cutting your weight loss efforts in half, right? So always keep that in mind. All those extra sauces, just that handful of chips on the way out of the kitchen, or that piece of candy that's been in the lunch space at work, all that small stuff, it does add up. So for example, I have three very good examples here, and this is from clients, real life clients, that I've seen. So one thing is bagels. On some of you guys' plans, I have listed a bagel, right? I give you the macros and I tell you a bagel, right? The macro breakdown is, there to tell you what bagel that you could get, and if it's a different bagel, right, keep the macros as close as you can, and not go too crazy overboard, right? Like I don't expect it to be perfect, like down to the gram, but just get it close, right? One time I had a client eating a bagel that was 200 calories over what the bagel in his plan was telling him. He just seen the word bagel, didn't look at the macro breakdown, and was over consuming 200 calories more per day than what we had originally planned. His weight loss was crazy slow when we had to deep dive into it. And okay, yeah, your bagel is 200 calories more than what it should have been, right? Now, another one, rice is a huge one. Oftentimes, I'll put rice in people's plans, right? But I specifically put cooked white rice or cooked white jasmine, or cooked jasmine rice, whatever. These are not pre-made cups or microwavable rice. If they are, I will notate that in there, hey, it's okay to use, these pre-made cups or these bagged rice, and I'll even, give you a link, right? Um, but if it's just plain cooked white rice, that's what it is. It's just plain cooked on the stove, that kind of thing, or in the air fryer, Instapot, not air fryer, Instapot. It is what it is, right? So if you look at the macro breakdown of like 250 grams of white rice cooked, it's roughly 320 calories, right? But if you go to Walmart and get the Uncle Ben's microwavable packs, that weigh in at 250 grams, those come out to be 420 calories. So again, there's another additional 100 calories there. And if you have rice in your plan 2 to 3 times a day, that could be an additional 2 to 300 calories there. And you're not even aware that you're overeating, right? The last example, and you guys might find this funny, is one time my old coach was telling me that he had a client eating cauliflower rice in two of her meals. She was gaining weight, but she said she was 100% on plan, on point. She was getting frustrated, to the point to where she was like, something's not working. What's up? So come to find out, she was eating fried cauliflower tater tots that were 700 calories more than what she was supposed to be eating. So you times that by two, that's 1,400 calories over her daily target with just that one mistake. That's why if you know if we have a good plan in place and we're not seeing the results that we want to see, and you say, hey, I'm 100% on point, there's zero discrepancies, I'm going to probably ask you to send me pictures of what you're eating. Not because I don't believe you, but there could be some small mistake that we're making that we're not realizing. Um, and let's get that fixed, right? Because if we just keep spinning our wheels and wondering, hey, where's this extra weight coming from? Well, let's narrow it down and make sure that the food, kind of isn't the case. And there even was one time to where I personally had a client who told me, "Hey, everything that I did, X, Y, Z, everything that I did was 100% on point." I said, "Okay, I believe you. Let's go get blood work done." When money's involved, and I got to go spend $100 to get blood work. Well, coach, really, I've been adding in X, Y, Z, and hadn't been doing this and doing that. I'm like, okay, I called your bluff, right? And this whole call is to not seem like it's in a negative way, but it's just to relay the info to you that even the smallest mistakes are going to add up over time. So with all of this, what should you do? Obviously, track more precisely. Use a scale. Be honest. Make sure that the macros align with the ones that's in your plan, right? If you're swapping things out, track it. If you go out to eat on Saturday and you have a free meal and you're like, oh yeah, I had my free meals on Saturday, but you gained 6 pounds from Saturday to Sunday, right? Well, let's track it. Was that free meal a 1,200 calorie free meal or was it a 4,000 calorie? I just don't give a damn free meal, right? Again, you being able to indefinitely see, hey, this is around about what I'm eating on these free meals. This is why my weight went up 6 pounds, right? Um, so again, it's really just about honing in and knowing what you're doing, in an essence, just to double check yourself, right? Um, Again, watch out for bites of this, taste of this, liquid calories. Double check your entries. That's the main thing. Um, Number two, and this is common for some of you who started in the program, a good bit of you here actually, is you're under eating. Some people are just over restricting to the point that their metabolism and their energy levels suffer, right? Reverse dieting is not some magical trick. If you have been in such a lower caloric deficit for so long and you have poor energy levels, well, what's going to happen when I give you more food, more energy, more output, weight loss, right? It's not magic. So if you're in this predicament of eating 1,200, 1,000 calories a day, it's probably too low, right? For the majority of folks, it is. Now, if you're a 100-pound female, probably not. That could be, kind of where you need to be. But consider a strategic diet break or refeed to help, reset that biofeedback. And if anything else, just focus on hitting your protein goal. That's going to be the biggest key there. Um, Number three is stress. Stress and sleep. Stress and sleep are sabotaging you behind the scenes, and you don't even know it. You can't out track chronic stress. It doesn't matter if you're perfect. At some point, all that's going to come to a halt because you are overstressed and under recovered when it comes to sleep. So elevated cortisol, poor sleep, nervous system dysregulation, all this is going to directly affect fat loss, hunger, and water retention. So we've gone over this before. I know some of this is stuff that you can't control, but what you can control is hopefully a good sleep environment, right? Having a good hygiene before that you go to bed. Put the phone down an hour before bedtime. Take a hot shower. So once you get out, that body temp slowly dropping from the hot shower is going to put you in that state to actually fall asleep better. No lights on in the room, white noise, a fan going, it cool, right? If you can't control your sleep hours because of your job or kids or whatever, at least try to control what your environment is that you're sleeping, right? If I try to go to sleep in my living room where there's blinds open, there's a TV playing, yeah, I'm going to get shitty sleep. But if I'm in my bedroom where there's blackout curtains, a fan, and it's cool in there, I'm probably going to get a better sleep in there, right? Um, Number four is you're expecting linear progress, but it's not linear. Weight loss doesn't happen in a straight line, right? We all wish it did. I mean, for me, I was 185 3 days ago, and then I was 182 this morning. Who's going to say I'm going to jump up to 183, 184 tomorrow? Weight's going to go up and down. It's definitely not linear. And it's normal for your body to fluctuate water. A lot of that's going to be water, sodium loss, food volume, things like that, hormones, poor recovery. Um, what you need to do here is just again zoom out, take that 30,000 foot view and look over a several week period. This is why it's so important for you guys to track your daily weight. I take the average. If you guys didn't know that, I take the average weight of the weights that you give me. So if you give me two weights, I have two numbers. If you give me seven weights, I have a lot more data, right? Um, if you just give me two, then what are we doing on the other 6 days of the week, right? If you were at 200 pounds and you come in on next check-in, you were 202. I'm like, damn, this person then gained 2 pounds over the week, right? But what if it went from 200 to 197 to 196 to 198 to 199 to 197 to 199, and then last night you had a poor night of sleep, and boom, it's up to 202. I'm thinking, damn, across the whole week, this person gained 2 pounds, but in reality, their average weight is probably down, right? That's why if you're giving me just 2 days of weights, I'm not going to say it's useless information, but it could be better, right? So again, that's why using progress photos, taking all 7 days of the weights, seeing how your clothes fit, and just using metrics like that are going to be well better off than you just doing two weights a week, and just going from one check-in to the next, right? Um, and then the last one is you're just not adjusting for your life changes, right? Your routine might have changed. You might have got a new job. It's not as active. You're behind a desk now where you were up on your feet all day. Less movement during the day, right? You sneakily increase, if that's even a word, sneakily, but you maybe secretly, or maybe not even secretly, without knowing, you increase your meals out, such as a lunch with the boss or your co-workers to, to save face, right? Or shorter workouts due to time constraints. I mean, what you should do here is just understand that everything that you do in life is not going to be a constant, right? Everything is going to be shifting in some form or fashion. So we need to develop a new baseline. So what you should do there is track your current steps and compare to when you were, to when you were making progress, right? Be honest about how consistent that you are as a whole with everything, not just one piece. If you're hitting your steps perfectly every week, but your food is off and your sleep is horrible and your workouts are lackluster, then let's not blame one aspect of it. Let's look at it as a whole, right? If we're looking at that as a whole, we're one of four for the week, right? But at the end of the day, you can't beat yourself up. You just have to get back on the horse. Like I told probably every single one of you here, just get back on the horse, recalibrate, understand that if you veered off, okay, that happens, right? But it's paramount that you get back on the plan ASAP if you want to see a progression. And then, in some form or fashion, there's some coaches out there that want to say like, oh, well, when a coach says get back on the plan, that's not setting yourself up for a lifelong sustainable process, right? Well, I'm going to have to disagree with that one big time, simply because if you have a big goal to hit, excuse my French, but why dick around? Just do what you need to do and just get it done, right? If you come in here and want to lose 50 pounds, well, okay, you've messed around and not given a damn for 30 years. Why not take this 6 months super strict? Do what you need to do, get it done, and then shift to a more sustainable approach, right? Again, I don't want this to come off as I'm complaining at you guys or just being nagging, but I mean, at the end of the day, the truth is what it is, right? You got to come in here and you got to really put aside the emotional aspect of things and just put in the forefront of what you need to do to get to where you want to be, right? But at the end of the day, all this being said, progress is still happening. Sometimes the biggest transformation that we have within our own self isn't physical. A lot of it is discipline, right? I can tell you in myself, just from starting my own personal journey, my discipline has went zero to 100 real quick. Ridiculous. And to me, that's the biggest aspect of it all because that discipline has not only carried over in my personal career as a bodybuilder, but how I, do things with clients, how I do my own workouts, how I structure my day outside of work. So it's just something to think about. The biggest thing though is keep showing up, keep fine tuning, make sure that you're keeping control on what you're doing, and always keep a tab of it. Um, I don't have one here, but if you guys see my Instagram story last week, every single week I print out a sheet of meal 1 through 6 for me every day. It's got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday on it. And as I eat it, I take the pen and I check it off. At the end of the day, I look at it about 6 o'clock and say, okay, I had one meal left. I took my morning supplements. I have my nightly supplements that I'm about to take. That I do X, Y, Z. And if there's anything on there that I do not have checked off, I check it. I mean, you cannot miss if you have something like that, kind of holding yourself accountable, right? Um, but outside of that, that's all I guys got for you today. Um, Again, don't take that as me being mean. It's just me like trying to like push you guys in the right direction. That if you're not making the progress that you want to see, take a step back, reevaluate yourself, and just make sure that what you're doing is in alignment with what you should be doing, if that makes sense. So, does anybody got anything to add to that? Anybody want to tell on themselves about a time that they've caught themselves slipping up?
Yeah, I'll say something. So those times like this weekend, I was down at the for friends of mine's reception. Everybody's drinking, doing their thing. Um, and then the hotel gym was very, very minimal. So I focused more. I did what I could in the gym, but me and my wife both focused on more getting our steps in, and then trying to eat and calculate. And again, we're at a bar slash restaurant type stuff, so adding those macros in to try to stay on point was pretty difficult trying to get that. So I just made it a priority to first of all move first thing in the morning, lift whatever I could in their little gym. But was it the right thing to focus on getting those steps in, even though I know that the restaurant and what they had provided for their reception was not going to be quite to that point of what you give me in my plan.
Absolutely. I mean, I would. I mean, if you
Is that more? What I'm saying is that more important to get those steps in, even though you have minimal gym equipment, minimal way of tracking every little
keep
thing.
that, yep, keep that neat going. Keep that movement, during the day going. I mean, because I mean, I'm gonna speak for myself. I want to be big. I want to be a bodybuilder. So like if I'm looking to add on a certain amount of tissue, sure, I'm gonna make sure that if I can get the workout in, I'm gonna do it, right? But if we're at the hotel gym and they got like 20-pound dumbbells and that's it, and like an elliptical and nothing, that I can do, sure. If anything else, instead of me just sitting on my ass and doing nothing all day, I'm gonna go get some steps in. Movement is gonna be good just in general, right? And I think that you just trying to track the restaurant food is going to do you a lot of good, even in the future, because because you probably track it and you're like, damn, that's a lot of calories for what I'm about to eat, right? So maybe in the future you're going to be like super self-aware of maybe I don't need to get this double cheeseburger with extra cheese and loaded sweet potato fries or whatever. You're going to be more self-aware of what you're eating to the point to where like, okay, I have a goal XYZ. This is my caloric limit, and this is what I'm going to adhere to, right? Um, I think you did. I think you did right for sure. If that answers your question, so yes, steps were the right thing to do for sure. Anybody else?
All right, I got another. Uh, Cody
Yeah,
can probably uh, touch on this too, or feel what I'm about to say. But with my job, and you're talking about the cortisol levels gets high and that sort of thing because my job is unpredictable. Hours I work is unpredictable. So, what's the best way to while offering completely? What's the
um,
best way to like make sure you maintain something because not every day allows me to get that workout in because of something pops off first thing in the morning or I work typically I work a 13-hour day, so I get home, still got to do my kids and all that kind of stuff, but I want to make sure I get my sleep in because I think that's the basically the number one priority, I guess, to make sure that stress level, because I know you see my check-ins. I mean, my stress is usually pretty typical on the higher end of things just because of life and then of course the profession I chose. So you have
yep.
any tips on that?
Yep, I would say yours and Cody's check-ins are probably pretty similar during the week as far as stress level, and on the go. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's just like I told Cody several times. You just got to control what you can control. I know there's been several times that he'll tell me, "Hey, man, I was called out to a SWAT thing, whatever, and standoff, whatever, and I had to be there for hours and hours and hours, and I couldn't eat a meal. Is that his fault? No, that's just his job, right? But I think at the end of the day, the more that you stress out about it, the more that you're going to put yourself in the hole. So the next day, just get back on the horse. That's all it is. Um, you can't. It would be hard for me to even map out and control if I had a job like that to where I didn't know if I was going to get called out 1 second or the next, or I'm planning on going to the gym at like 1:30. If I had a call to go do something at that point in time, I mean, my day would be shot, right? Because I didn't have I didn't have the gym. I don't have any food prep to go in containers. So again, I think it's just being for you guys. It just needs to be over prepared in this. Um, make sure that you have meals prep for several days in advance at all times, just to be sure that if something does pop off and you got to be out in the field for several hours, that you have food at your disposal for the next day. So when you come home, you don't have to cook it and worry about that. It's already done for you. So, just control what you can control, I guess is the best way to put it. So, and Cody can probably add to that too.
Yeah, if I think I can add to it a little bit. I mean, I agree with everything Austin said. And there's nothing I can tell you that you don't already know about the job. What I will tell you is where I fucked up. Um, some are in my control and some are not. I heard you say focus on sleep. Yeah. If I could, I've been with Austin for years, man. If I could do things over or a little different, I guess in my little bubble, my little world that I live in, I'm somewhat important. 4 to 5 hours sleep is phenomenal night for me. Every night. Um, and let's talk about stress level. Last week, my blood glucose was 75. Today was 90. Today is Wednesday. I think that I'm working right about 9 hours of sleep since Sunday morning. Um, Focus on that, man. Focus on the sleep. Um, and the meals are what they are. I very rarely miss meals, but whenever I do, it's absolutely out of my control. It's not one of those things where I won't eat it cold on the hood of my car. It's just I can't get to it, you know. Um, but I think the sleep, Austin hammered us in for at least 2 years, and I told Austin, man, I go harder. You know, fuck that. I'm not listening to that mess. Um, I should have just listened because he was so right, man. I thought that I was one of these guys that just didn't sleep much. I have terrible sleep problems, anyways. I'm called out at least 5 times a week, sometimes multiple times a night. Um, yeah, concentrate on that. Concentrate on that 100%, and I promise you, you get bigger, stronger. Whenever I started to concentrate on that the best I could, moving from 4 to 5 hours to 6 and a half, I felt better and I looked better. My check-ins, I could look from week to week, and they look good. I don't care how much I adhere to the plan. I can have 100% adherence. I never miss workouts. I think I've missed my step count like 3 times in going on 3.5 years, and I got a high step count at 15,000. Lack of sleep looked like shit. Good night's sleep, man. I looked good. I mean, I was proud of the way I looked. So I would definitely prioritize that sleep with your job. Um, I'm lucky, man. My son's grown, so I don't have that to deal with anymore. He's only child. But my career, man, it runs my entire life, my entire being. I got 18 months left, and I'm telling them to stick it up their ass. We're gonna try to work on getting some 8 hour night sleeps.
Oh, yep. I mean, everything Cody said there is true. I mean, just like we dove into the sleep call a few weeks ago, sleep is paramount. But on that end, you just got to control what you can control and just get what you can. I mean, just like Cody said, if you going from that 4 to 5 hours to 6 to 7 hours a night, that's one extra hour a night over a 7 day span. That's a whole nother night of sleep. If you think about it that way. So I mean, out of a whole 7 days, if you can add a 1 hour to your sleep, that's a whole another 7 hours of sleep during across a 7 day span. So
And it,
again.
it really it really pays dividends in recovery. My leg days are tough. I mean, I they're tough. Um, and what I found out, man, I'm still hurting, like barely walking by Thursday because I haven't recovered. I have not. I mean, I just have not laid in bed long enough for my body to recover. And being a huge David Goggin fan, I mean, I really believe in that mindset. I believe that those true warriors are out there. Um, for a long time, I thought I was, but I ain't. I'm a bitch. I need some sleep.
Oh God. Oh God. Um, this has been a good call for sure. Well, anybody else?
I hate I missed the first part, but we just to go ruin some people's day here in just a minute.
We can all stay on the call and watch you if you want to strap it to your forehead or something. We can watch you do it.
Well, I got enough cameras on me right now. I don't need another one.
No,
Cause about to go direct traffic. Don't let y'all fool. Don't let fool y'all. He about to go direct traffic.
Hey, I'm not too good to do that either. But we fix to wreck somebody's shit off their foundation here in about 5 minutes.
Oh man.
Uh,
Well, if anybody else got anything, speak now, forever hold your peace. But keep in mind, next week we do have the special guest coming on. So if you can make it, make it. I told him I would promise him that we would have more than 5 people show up. So we got to have a record turnout if we're going to have a guest on the Wednesday call. So
Well,
I
can I
don't.
add to that, Austin?
Yeah.
So, Austin hooked me up with Brandon. I was with a different company with the hormone replacement therapy and all that kind of stuff. And just a few 3 months, I'm assuming this will, hit with some of the ladies, but the dudes on here, man, Brandon is awesome. Like most of our Zoom calls, dude is like not a salesman, just straightforward. He'll tell you if something sounds absolutely stupid, or even if like Googling it and say, well, these results are this. He's like, yeah, I mean, you can. It's probably a waste of money. Just get your diet right. Keep with your replacement that we got going on and just keep it tight and get your training in check. So dude is just straightforward, awesome, and I've enjoyed working with him. I appreciate Austin lending me to him. So I'll
Man,
definitely check in.
I'll add to that as well. I know Brandon before he even had his DEA license, to write prescriptions. Um, Me and Austin kind of ran up on him not too far, about the same time. Man, this dude used to wake up at 4:30 in the morning trying to teach me how to pose over a Zoom call, and I wasn't a client. I mean, he he'll bend over backwards to help you. Thing about him is just a medical provider, not even TRT or anything like that. I mean, you send him a message, he's going to respond. I mean, I've sent him messages 2 o'clock in the morning before. So, I mean, I got a sinus infection, and I wake up, prescription's there. I mean, he's great. He's good at what he does. Um, if you don't have a medical provider, man, check him out. The dude's sharp.
Yep, and he'll be here next Wednesday to give a small lecture, and any questions that you guys have, bring them because it's not every day that you can ask a doctor or he'll get mad I say that a physician's assistant questions. So yeah, if you got questions, bring them about anything like that hormone related, and he'll definitely answer them. But outside of that, I really enjoyed this call. Hopefully, it was an eye opener for the some people, and I'm sure it will be for the ones who watch the replay. But outside of that, hope you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you guys soon.